Away from the end of 2021, and as we get closer to the new year, On Your Side's Katie Jeffries takes a look back at some of the biggest stories we've covered.
A lot has happened in our little slice of the world in 365 days. Let's look at some of the headlines. Downtown may start looking a little different. In October, the City Council voted unanimously in favor of the Shipyards project, the $400 million riverfront development. The plan includes a Four Seasons hotel, new Jags performance center, and a new home for Mosh. Work is set to begin in 2022. The completion date, though, isn't until the end of 2025. The City Council also voted in May to double the gas tax for the next 30 years to fund more than $900 million in road, transit, and drainage projects. That starts on January 1st, with much of the money going towards JTA's Skyway to U2C conversion, moving the rail system to autonomous vehicles and expanding it to surrounding neighborhoods.
He did not put what he believed to be our best interest first, and that's what I think people respect the most. I hope that's how people remember him.
Speaking of City Council, former mayor and City Council President Tommy Hazouri died in September at the age of 76. After a life of nearly 50 years as a public servant. Sadly, crime did fill the headlines as well. In May, the First Coast was in shock by the horrific killing of 13-year-old Tristan Bailey in St. Johns County.
There's nothing even nearly remote being an accident.
Stabbed more than 100 times, a classmate, 14-year-old Aiden Fucci, was arrested for the crime. The community grieved and remembered Tristan's life that ended far too soon.
She's amazing and she didn't deserve this at all.
The First Coast also held its breath waiting for the capture of Patrick Mcdowell. Accused of shooting and killing Nassau County Deputy Joshua Moyers, Mcdowell hid in the woods off of 301 for days.
He came out of the bathrooms, had him get down on the ground and crawl. He crawled like a baby, like the coward he is.
Hundreds showed up for the search and stayed to mourn the loss of Deputy Moyers and honor his life and sacrifice. There was some positive news in crime this year. Overall, Jacksonville's homicide rate for 2021 is down compared to 2020. And the cold case unit at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office solved a 35-year-old cold case, the 1985 Christmas Eve murder of Leslie McCrae. DNA led detectives to David Nelson Austin, who was arrested for murder and will be extradited back to Jacksonville to face trial. The courts were also busy in 2021 in a case that gained international attention. Gregory and Travis McMichael and William Roddy Bryan faced a trial in the death of Ahmaud Arbery. The men claimed self-defense. The case drew crowds outside the courthouse and put a spotlight on Glenn County.
Count 1, malice murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Travis McMichael, guilty.
The jury found the men guilty on multiple counts. As one trial ended, another began. Trial years in the making. Kimberly Kessler faced a jury in the death of Jolene Cummings in 2018. The Yulee hairstylist and mother of three's body has never been found. It is a case full of twists and turns, and after repeated outbursts, Kessler had to watch the trial remotely. It only took the jury 90 minutes to find Kessler guilty of first-degree murder. In Jacksonville, a surprising move by an appellate court. Former U.S. Representative Kareem Brown's fraud convictions were overturned. The 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals says the judge's decision to remove a juror who said the Holy Spirit told him she was innocent invalidated the trial's result. She is set to be retried in February.
It doesn't make any sense that they looked at that and was like, this is okay, but this is not.
St. Johns County found itself in the spotlight after Bartram Trail High School altered yearbook photos of female students, and that sparked a debate on dress code policy, with some students and parents saying it unfairly targeted girls.
Why did the school look at my yearbook photo and see something sexual that should be publicly shamed instead of a student with a perfect GPA and a perfect conduct record?
With international backlash, the school and school district apologized. Workshops were held and a new dress code was approved with more gender-neutral policies. Speaking of schools, the great mask debate loomed over schools as coronavirus surged in August, just as schools began. Whether or not students should wear masks became a contentious issue, and policies varied depending on the district, even pitting some school boards in Florida, like Duval, against the governor.
I think as a board, we want to do everything that we can to help keep kids in our community healthy and safe.
Ultimately, I think that it's up to people's individual decisions to make, if you want to wear a mask.
In October, Duval Schools lifted its mask requirement after COVID cases began to dip in Jacksonville. But the impact COVID-19 continues to have can't be understated. In late July, the Delta variant of COVID moved like wildfire through the First Coast. Hospitals saw a surge of patients in August, the most we've seen yet during the pandemic.
Opening up nooks and crannies, if you will, in the emergency rooms to find places to see patients.
Hospitals hit capacity, patients were being placed in overflow areas, conference rooms, break rooms, and our healthcare workers were pushed to the limits to save lives. Sadly, we lost many loved ones this year, including multiple first responders. There are happy stories, though. Families reunited and patients able to go back home with the ones they love.
There's a tornado right there. That is a big tornado.
In weather, Hurricane Elsa made a visit to Jacksonville in July. Though downgraded to a tropical storm by the time it reached Jacksonville, it produced strong winds that knocked down a tree onto a car on Roosevelt, killing Airman Deshaun Johnson, and spun up a tornado that ripped up trees and power lines along Phillips Highway. Also, 17 people were hurt after a second tornado hit an RV park near Kings Bay Naval Base. In sports, hopes were high for the Jags this year. With first overall pick quarterback Trevor Lawrence and a new head coach Urban Meyer, fans hoped this would be the year we have a winning season. It was even Tebow time in Jacksonville as our hometown hero got his chance to join the team. His jersey sold out quickly, but he didn't make the final cut. Minshew Mania also came to an end as the Jags traded Gardner Minshew to Philly, pinning their hopes on Trevor Lawrence. But the season has come up short, though they did break their 20-game losing streak. Then, with 4 games left, the controversies and losses just became too much, and head coach Urban Meyer was fired. In other parts of the sports world, Nick Luco was named the new Iceman coach, just the second in Iceman history.
Beat Lynch all alone, he'll score!
And the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp had their first season as a AAA team. They finished the year 75-55. Before the look at last year closes, let's end this on a high note. There was so much good news. Families reunited at local bases after months apart, and local athletes brought home medals from Tokyo. Caleb Dressel won 5 gold medals in Tokyo. Ryan Murphy won a gold, silver, and bronze. Andre DeGrassi won a gold in the 200-meter race. Michelle Moultrie brought home a silver from the U.S. softball team. Garrett Scantling placed 4th in the decathlon, and he says he is going back for Paris in 2024. And the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp's Eddie Alvarez was a flag bearer for the opening ceremonies and brought home a silver with the men's baseball team, and earned a new nickname from his teammates, Captain America. Staying with sports, for the first time, the Supergirl Surf Pro Contest came to Jacksonville Beach. Alyssa Spencer took home the cape in that one, and the St. Johns River was a backdrop in the SLS Super Crown World Skateboarding Championships. They came to Jacksonville for the first time and competed in front of sold-out crowds. Speaking of the riverfront, a multi-million-dollar proposed statue had people scratching their heads. Does it say LERP, Lex, Love? We're not sure. It's a hot debate, but you could get the design on a pair of socks or a tattoo, because why not? And lastly, Jacksonville knows how to come together for a good cause. People donated more than $825,000 for the First Coast News Canines for Warriors telethon to pair rescue dogs with veterans. A huge amount that will change and save so many lives. Oh, what a year it has been. Throughout the highs and lows, we are always all in this together. Now on to 2022, and we will see what this new year will bring. In Jacksonville, Katie Jeffries, First Coast News, on your side.